funny pants y'all are wearing. That's an Apple
That
thing.
must be an Apple
Sure.
thing. It's got a pocket to fit an iPhone. Weirdos.
Exactly.
Back in my 1800s years, we didn't even wear pants.
All right, we've got a heart out.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what that is.
All right. Hi, and welcome to the Y'all Ain't Right podcast. I'm Brittany. I'm here with Nick, Tyler, and Todd. Today we're talking about the Appalachian Trail. We're so excited.
Crickets.
And
It's my
we're
main
also
goal is
so
to walk
excited.
the whole thing.
You know, we're the majority of our listeners outside of Tennesseans, because we are local to Tennessee, but the second most listenership, do you know what state it's out of?
Virginia,
North Carolina?
Ohio,
No clue.
Georgia.
West Virginia, Georgia. Okay.
And that is where
I was just trying to name Appalachian Trail states.
I'll nail it eventually.
I'll
There's
get
only
it there. I'll
14
get there.
to guess.
Maine.
Oh, that's true. Mine.
That's where one of the ends of the Appalachian Trail is. It's Georgia. Georgia to Maine.
I didn't know that, but I'm not good at geography like Nick.
Dude, South Carolina touches Tennessee, I swear to God. There's a very thin line. No. Okay.
So shout out to all of our Georgia listeners today. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for tuning
as
in, and
always.
hopefully you're watching. Watch the Hot Wheels episode. It's a doozy.
Have you guys ever hiked any of the Appalachian Trail?
Locally, yes. Outside of going up to Gatlinburg and the mountains up there, no.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm surprised that you've even hiked locally. You don't.
Well, I mean, back in the day, that's what we did, was hike every weekend.
I feel like that's what people said when they didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, I got the pictures to prove it.
The Polaroids.
Film.
We used to do the chimneys. We'd do the back route on the chimneys, which, if you're a hiker, do not do that. That's so dangerous. I can't believe my dad took us up there. Like, that was so stupid. It's just to get to those, like, blackberry or blueberry fields or whatever they are up there. It's just like, no, we were scaling the side of a mountain at, like,
Are you
9
talking
and 7.
not taking your kids?
Yeah, do not take your kids.
Well,
Like,
the youngest person who did it was 5 years old.
the back door of the chimneys?
The hiked the entire.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
well, that's, oh my gosh, that's even, okay. People are so dumb. Like, they're so dumb. Like, that's, how long is that trail? How many thousands of
So,
miles? Like
on-
2?
It's 22, just shy
I'm
of
good.
2,200 miles. Okay, so if you drove from Tennessee 2,200 miles, do you know where you would end up?
Just heading west, you're talking?
Yeah, I would
Well,
say,
yeah,
I would
you'd
assume
run
you have
out
to, yeah.
if you
You'd
went
have to,
east.
either, you know,
I could go north.
3 miles deep in the Atlantic dead, or, I'm going west. So,
You don't have to go in a straight line if you're driving.
We'd have to know a little bit more about geography. Yeah, if you drove in circles for 2,200 miles.
I could do 2,200 miles in this parking lot. I wouldn't advise it because you'd be here a long time.
God.
But you could do it.
Doesn't matter. It's still amount of time, no matter where you're going.
What state do you think you'd end up in?
Okay, on a non-reversed, very minimal. We're talking interstate travel.
Yeah.
Okay, where you ending up if you go 40 and you just keep going.
You're allowed to change to different interstates.
Well, sure, but I mean 40 goes all the way over.
I'm trying to
So,
think how long or how far it is from here to
We're man
California.
talking again about interstates.
I don't know what we're
Yeah.
doing right now. Anyway, so
If you drive 2,200 miles west, what state are you in?
Nevada.
Arizona. I don't know.
New Mexico.
California.
I should have
All
said
the way
California.
across.
Really? I thought it was 3,000 something miles.
Well, we're not at the very end of the United States.
Yeah, I guess that's Maine to like LA.
Hence my question. So
Yeah.
Well, you still didn't answer it.
I said Nevada.
Well, after we forced you into it, you're like, well, you could just drive 2,200 in the south.
First, we were drowning in the Atlantic, but
Yeah. No, that's you'd have to go west.
I feel like I'm vindicated.
I don't think there's any states out in the middle of the ocean. Hawaii doesn't count.
I was gonna say.
Well, you could get on a ferry, and it could cart you over to England, and then you could pick up your miles there, right, Todd?
I felt like it was a trick question.
No, just talking, hopping on the interstate and going.
And you were all wrong.
Today on
You were wrong
Geography,
too.
Geography 101.
Every time we try to do a geography question, it goes off the rails.
Semantics. Isn't that what everyone says when they're wrong? Semantics.
Brittany said semantics at least 20 times yesterday.
I was
you?
fired up.
Semantics.
That's a totally different topic, though. So,
Please do tell.
No, we don't have time for
Anyway.
that.
No, we ain't got no time for that.
the Appalachian Trail, the idea for it came from the regional planner Benton McKay in 1921, over 100 years ago. I know you're fascinated, Nick.
That guy must have been really bored.
The first section of the trail opened 101 years ago in New York, 1923. It was a lot of volunteer construction. It was built by a lot of volunteers, federal agencies, and construction went on until about 1937. But they're always changing routes and whatnot. What are you guys doing?
It's just going to derail. Continue.
Okay.
Could you imagine trying to do all of that with 1920s and early 30s equipment?
But at the same time, it's kind of like, I don't know.
It's probably
It's the
just
forest.
they all did it by hand.
People were walking on trails anyway. I mean, is it that complicated to construct a trail?
And I
Trees,
feel like
rocks.
that's still the majority of the tools are probably hand tools that are
Yeah.
being used because it's going to be harder.
It's pretty narrow.
You can't take a
Well, why do
This
you
is
need to
coming
take a
from-
trail? Just take a car.
This is coming from someone who just dug their first hole
I mean-
2 years ago and found out how hard that actually
Ford was
was.
making-
that's why people
Ford
find
was making
bodies.
cars
It's
back then. Like,
hard
why
to
are we,
dig a deep
why are we
hole.
digging a trail?
Because
That
it's
was that was a joke about
for walking.
I know, but why?
somebody that was talking
Fun.
about
Just drive.
the most important hole that you'll ever dig in your life is buried body, and still people barely make
Yeah.
it, like, because it's so
Deep
hard
enough.
to do. Yeah. So that's
That'll do.
Yeah.
A little panic involved there too, I'm sure. But yeah, I feel like the trail maintenance and the building is, mostly hand tools and stuff like that. So
Yeah, it's the largest hiking only footpath in the world.
yeah.
I was just about to ask, can you do bikes on it? No. Okay. Hiking only.
You're not supposed to, but I'm
Oh,
sure
people do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I biked it.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're in cuffs. I'm sorry.
That would be the stupidest
The
reason to go
well,
to
it's the
jail.
hiking police. How dare you? It's a hiking trail only.
I bet you the mountain police are on box.
Oh, you know they are. They're breaking
Segways.
the law. It's a hiking only.
Segways.
Just segways up on the AT.
That'd
they
be a
got those-
dangerous one hitting a
No,
branch.
they got the off-road one that guy, the founder guy, died on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I feel like there's a
Boom.
lot of
We've come full
self-policing
circle.
on the Appalachian Trail.
You've got to put the all-terrain tires on the Segway.
Just look out for cliffs, okay?
Are we talking tubeless here?
Maybe.
Oh man.
Little mountain bike humor
I
there.
was gonna say, ooh.
Anyway,
Nerds.
Nerds.
no, I really wanted to do hike the whole trail, or at least do.
You still got time. The oldest person that did it was like 82.
I'm gonna do it one day.
The whole
But
trail.
You're going to hike the whole trail.
I want to. I did want to take. It might have been 2 years ago. It might have been before Bellamy was born. I can't remember. I was trying to get any group of friends to go with us and
Yeah,
do.
no one's going with you.
and
I
do,
remember you asking, and I'm like,
Okay.
I don't even like going up the stairs, and you're talking about going and yeah.
I got news for you.
I was talking about a 4-day hike, not even. the whole
Yeah, nobody's going for 4 hours, let alone 4 days.
Do you know what the percentage of people that start doing the whole trail that actually finish?
Probably like less than 5%.
That's more than that, but
You think it's more than that?
Yeah.
Probably
more than
like
that.
20 maybe.
it's 20 to 30
Yeah, that sounds right.
people that start it to do the whole trail.
But do they do it all at
Actually finish.
once?
Well, the people that that start it to do it all.
Yeah, I
in
mean, you
one.
got to do it all in one.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
20% of those people still finish it
Yep.
in one trip.
Yep.
So
Well, that's actually pretty darn impressive.
they're
Yeah,
like,
but you feel like most people, I feel like, that are going to start that are going to train and get ready for it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And
But
have
even
the
then,
gear for it. But the people that
even then,
you
though,
know,
I think people are severely underestimating like how difficult that is.
I've watched some, and it gets. I feel like it's. I've watched a few documentaries on people doing.
I think that's highly impressive, personally. But
it gets deeper, like in Maine and New York,
Sure.
and elevation.
Well, the
wise
ranges-
and colder.
the mountain ranges are
Well,
worse
actually,
and
the
more
highest
severe
peak
weather.
is Clingman's Dome. So,
Yeah.
but you
But
start
overall,
going
the mountains
north.
are a little bit more rugged
Yeah.
and colder.
Yeah, I don't think you're hiking the entire trail in 4 days, even if you
No.
like.
Oh no!
No, I think it'd take like
Piece
4
of
weeks.
it. I wanted
you know.
to do like a group of people to do a piece
Yeah, nobody's
of it.
doing
Yeah,
that.
okay.
You're asking the wrong group.
I forget what the
us
average-
or anybody close. You need to go ask people that like live around those parts. That's all they know. Like, is they know outdoor stuff.
Yeah, like
Knoxville, Tennessee is not the place
Yeah.
that'd be asked. Hey, y'all want to go for a 4-day
40.
hike? No, I'll go for a 40-minute hike as long as there's a cooler of beer at the end with like a grill.
Do you know what the average is? How many miles people?
Or how long it takes.
Like say today I was hiking the Appalachian Trail.
Some
Oh,
people
per
put
What
an
day.
like
average.
average? Yeah, per day. Do you know what it is?
20 plus.
Is it
Or
20?
14 to 20 plus miles
Jesus,
a day.
I was gonna say like 10.
Well, that's probably on average.
those
but-
people are determined and trained. They
Well,
don't
again, the type of
Yeah, that's
people
true.
that go and do
That's
that
true.
kind of thing.
Yeah, and some days probably a lot
I
less.
think I remember the longest
depending
hike-
on the weather and
Longest hike we went on was like 3.5 up and like 3.5 back down.
stop. Yeah,
And
that's
I did that as like a 9 or 10-year-old, which for me was not a problem. But I remember my parents were like, the shin splint type stuff that they were dealing with. They were like, "Holy cow, that was
6
a brutal
miles.
one." It was like 7, 3.5 up, 3.5
I've
down.
ran 7 miles like a couple of months ago.
Well, yeah, I used to run 4 miles a day flat. You're not gonna run 7 miles in the mountains.
I'm not running up a mountain, but it's hills. It's not flat.
They're paved street hills.
it's been like 10 years since I went on like an actual in the mountains prepared for it hike. Like it's
have
been
you
a long
have you
time.
hiked up
Yes.
there on some of those brutal trails?
Yes.
Nobody's running those.
That was my parents' one of their hobbies.
Yeah, that's what
And
my parents did.
You think
You're
that?
not running those.
But like while I was out there on the side of the mountain, there's people like jogging.
There's a few trails where you can get away with it, but like the big ones where you're going 3-4 miles up and down.
That's what I'm
where
talking
you're reaching
about.
the peaks. Nobody's running those high altitude ones.
Well, I forget the name of
They're
the.
too steep.
I forget the name of the one that I did last, but it was like 5 miles back to a waterfall, and it was steep, and there was like an older couple that was just like jogging up the hill, and I'm like, this is like,
Well, there may be some parts where you can get a little giddy up.
yeah, maybe.
But some, I guarantee you, when you get way up there and you're doing some of the shimmying
Yeah,
around the
I'm
cliff
not-
sides and stuff,
I'm not doing any.
you ain't
hike.
running that.
I will do no hike that has any shimmying on cliffs.
That's what I'm saying. Like that stuff.
Oh my
ugh.
gosh. When I went to Arizona for a girls' trip last year. And we were supposed
This
to
one
just
had
do
the hot tub, Todd.
No.
No, that wasn't the one.
No, it
Okay.
didn't. We were
She's like, wait.
we were supposed to be doing like this short little 1 mile hike just to get some pretty pictures of the desert and whatever.
this is how people die.
It's just like this is the start of like, and we lost a friend that day.
we
We
had
took
no
a wrong
water.
turn. We had no water. We were all in like these matching tank tops and like.
And you want to go on a 4-day hike and you didn't take water in the desert?
in the desert.
When
Listen
they
to me.
find your
we were
body.
supposed to take a 1 mile hike, okay?
That's how it always starts. Then you get lost and you die.
So
Then it
anyway,
rains and floods. And
anyway, we ended up walking for
3 days, 2 days.
it was probably around 2 hours. Finally, because we could tell, you can see that you were coming back to the cars, like, but there were a lot of turns. There was one guy who's just like running the whole thing
because he had
I
a
think
bear chasing him,
I
probably.
think he passed us twice.
Get out of here. Y'all got to go.
And now a word from our sponsor. Interest rates have been a huge topic in the housing market for quite some time now. CMG Financial is running a program called Rate Rebound. That way you can buy now and refinance anytime in the next 5 years when interest rates drop for little to no cost. Call or text YARPOD to Norma White with CMG Financial to learn more at 865-898-5000. Tell her YARPOD sent ya.
Why does he keep
We
looking
finally
back?
made it back, and we're like, we need water. Like, we were ready to eat lunch by the time we already got out there. I mean,
What? She wants to take a 4-day hike. You want to go on a 4-day hike with Miss Unprepared here?
Right.
Tyler's like,
I wasn't the one
I'm not
keeping
going.
direction on this one.
Was there arguing?
Keeping direction?
You know, apparently humans are prone to walking in circles. So you can, like, there are people that die, like, 6 feet off of the Appalachian Trail.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that happens all the time, especially like in the snow and in the woods.
In a desert.
Desert, yeah. Everything looks the same. You don't know which way you're going. I've seen that cactus before, like.
Don't cactuses hold water?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how much
Fine.
water you can get out of it,
Although-
though.
I'd say you're not
Apparently
getting
you-
any water out of it.
You get fined like 50,000 or go to jail or something like that if you touch cactuses out there, is what we were told. So
What in the
A
world?
lot of them are endangered.
I mean, I used to go turkey hunting, and I've gotten lost in, like, not an area I've hunted before, and trying to get back to where everyone is and stuff like that. And,
You gotta-
borderline panic. And
You got to leave trail markers, break twigs and stuff on your way.
yeah, I'm enough
You have
of a
to.
klutz in the woods that my trail's not hard to find.
I feel like a compass would just be your best bet.
GPS now. So
Well,
didn't have it back then.
technically, yeah, if you had a compass, but you also have to know how to use it.
Yeah.
Like, you
Well,
can't
someone
just...
that's carrying a compass is going to know how to use it.
I don't know
There's a
about all
compass on
that.
every smartphone, and people don't know how to use it.
I don't think I would trust a smartphone call.
Like, first and foremost, well, anyways,
Well,
yeah,
what
you
if-
better know how to use one.
I mean, technically, if you have a compass and you go, if I just continue to head east, then I'll eventually hit something. right?
Yeah, no.
I don't think that's
no, that's not how that works.
Yeah, you'll
At
hit
least you're not
something.
walking in circles.
That's
no,
true.
but the point is, if you head in any direction, eventually you're gonna find something.
Yeah.
Compass doesn't really matter unless you have a map.
Right,
And know
you
kind
need
of
to
where
know the
you are.
terrain.
At least you're not walking in circles, though. Because if you walk in circles, you could be lost for a month.
Ever.
But if you at least
Okay.
keep going in the same
I
direction,
think that-
there's only so many miles that, well, although we did talk about how big the Great
Yeah.
Smoky Mountains National Forest is.
Well, and think about it from this point
Just
of view.
keep going.
If you just keep going east, sure, eventually, in theory, you would find the beach and civilization. But the second you come to that first cliff, what do you do? That's why people end up aimlessly walking around the mountains, because they reach obstacles that are physically impossible for them to get across.
Yeah, I'm not
or
climbing
handle.
down, so I'm just gonna die. So,
Right. So I mean that's what people do. They end up like, well, I'll go find a different direction.
I've watched
Or I'll
enough
try
Bear
something
Grylls.
Yeah, as he smacks the mic. But yeah, I mean, Tyler hinted to the key feature. If you have a map with a compass, now you're in business, because you can use the cardinal directions on a map in conjunction with the compass, and then you can fine tune a direction that you want to head to.
I'm just going to hope and pray I'm with somebody that knows what they're doing.
Oh my God. And she wants to take a 4-day hike. Here lies Brittany. It's like, okay.
They'll find her dead 6 feet from the trail.
It's literally 1 foot off. Where's the trail?
When someone's like, how do you get to your house? I'm like, don't ask me.
Just
for
go
what-
south.
Follow your GPS. Someone was following me the other day to how he was like, you made it here before I did, and I was like, I don't even know what you're referring to. I just watched my GPS the whole way.
That's like my dad. Like, I love him to death, but when someone, he'll call like a subcontractor. We're trying to explain where like a job is to a sub, and I'm just like, Dad, just give him the address. And he's like, well, they need to know how to get there. He's like, so if you're coming from 40, and I mean, he goes into like this long 20-minute explanation. And at the end of, he's going to get his point done. There's no interrupting him. He's going to say his whole thought
Is that where
the
you get that
entire
from?
time.
I feel like that runs in the family.
It definitely does. Well, at least sometimes I'll stop and let other people say something, and then I come back at it. He won't stop. Like, you could start talking, and he could see it, and it would never register. But 20 minutes, and then literally I'm waiting for it. You can tell. The sub will just, like, on the other line or on the other side, just go, can you just text me the address? Because I'll hear him at the end go, yeah, I'll just text you the address. And I'm like, Dad, do you realize why they say that? It's like, I guess they'll put it in their GPS or something, but the way I gave them will work just fine. I'm like, dude, just in this day and age,
Yeah.
most people, I'm kind of old school. You could give me directions and I could figure it out.
I don't know interstate
But
names.
yeah, I was going to say she doesn't even know what exit or interstate or road she's coming off of to get to her road.
Yeah.
She just watches her GPS.
I'm pretty
so.
bad about that too. It's like if it's not in the GPS, I'm not finding my way there.
Really? I kind of pictured you the other way around.
Sometimes I can, but I'm definitely directionally challenged.
Todd?
I'll pretend like I know where I'm going, but nah.
Really?
I mean,
Yeah.
it depends on where it is. I mean, I could be somewhere 100 times and
You still don't know how to get there.
I'll still use GPS because I went 6 different ways to get there and
Yeah.
stuff
Okay,
like
well, that's
that.
a little different.
So,
You still use GPS, but could you get there without it?
probably. I might make a wrong turn here or there.
Am I the only one that finds that weird?
Yeah, no, that pretty much.
I mean, it's funny whenever people will put directions in an MLS listing because GPS doesn't work.
Yeah.
The amount of people that don't look at those
I've had-
until it's too late.
I have had clients that are like your dad who are like, well, it's in this neighborhood, so I know if you go down Bob Gray and you turn
Yep.
over on, and they like lay out all these directions and they're like, we'll just follow you there, and they refuse to use GPS. And then if I go somewhere and meet them, they're like, well, did you come this way or that way? And I was like, I have no idea.
I just magically
What does
got
it
here.
matter? We're here
Yeah.
Wait,
now.
so. Oh, man,
Let's
this
enjoy the
this is
moment
very
together.
interesting.
You're
to
from
me.
here and grew
Like,
up here, so
I know,
I
but
feel like that's learned. You know,
Okay,
it's over time.
basic,
and,
basic though. Could you all get to the office from your house without GPS?
Oh, yeah.
We drive here every
Yes.
day.
Okay. Well, I'm just kind of
Yeah.
finding where the because
For-
this is fascinating to me.
For a while, no.
If you were at your house and someone asked you to go to Stock and Barrel, could you get there without GPS?
I didn't realize until last year that that's Paper Mill and Wisegarber and not some other road. Like, I don't know this stuff.
Do you know where Stock and Barrel is?
Nope.
Where's Stock and Barrel at?
That's downtown, isn't it?
Yes. Come on, Market
Market
Square
Square?
socialites.
Market
you
Square?
say I'm not social.
I literally
I don't
never
go there.
go to Market Square.
Could you
like,
get to
ever.
Market Square
Yes,
from
I
your
could.
house?
Yes.
I haven't been to Market Square in at least 4 years.
But could you get there without GPS? Really?
Kinda. I
It's
could
just
get,
downtown Knoxville.
I could get to downtown Knoxville. Could I get specifically to Market Square? Probably not.
I
Wow.
could, yes.
That's fascinating to me. Like it really is. Like that's so bizarre. Because to me, it's like I keep.
I'll probably still put it in my GPS.
I could
but
almost
get
remember
there.
every direction I've taken to a place I've only
You've
been
also
to
grown,
once.
lived here for
Can't do
42
that.
years.
That's true.
I can
But
remember
not
numbers
42.
and things on paper that I see like nobody's business, but
50.
directions.
That's so weird. That
Yeah.
okay. I always find that fascinating. So you would need a GPS
Yeah.
on the AT.
Yeah.
You would. I would. But if I had a map and a compass, I think I'd be fine.
Oh, I'd be fine with a map and a compass.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm also
could
probably
use
one
it,
of the
but
few
you're
that's
just-
used a compass.
right? You could go old school, but you prefer the luxuries of this.
I mean, it's more pinpoint, but
How did we go this far off the rails?
Well, no, we were talking about
Trails,
talking
yeah.
about her, just walking east forever, and where that's going to get you. Oh goodness,
I'd eventually run into
a bear.
North Carolina.
I mean, I used to hunt and stuff, so I was, back home. I mean, always found my way back.
I'm eventually running into North Carolina somewhere. I know it. I can feel it in my bones. It's there.
There's no wilderness out there.
That bear, you don't exist. I'm going to walk right past you.
Okay, the average amount of time it takes to hike it.
The whole trail.
Mm-hmm.
What are we talking? Like hours, days, weeks? Like what's
Like-
our time constraint here?
Solid month, 30 days.
I'm going to say
I would say most
4
people do it.
months.
I would think 4 weeks.
You were way off this time. 5
Was
to
I?
7 months.
Oh, wow.
5 to 7 months is it? But you said the average was like 20-something miles?
Well,
Per day. Per day, they're doing between 14 to 20 plus miles per day.
Oh.
There's a lot of up and down. That would be really hard.
I mean, it covers 14 states.
It's not like you're walking straight. Yeah,
Because, I mean, if
crazy.
you did 5 months, that's 150 days. You're averaging less than 10 miles a day.
Could you imagine walking 14
Or no, I guess you're,
states
what is that, 12 miles, 13 miles a day? I guess that's about right.
and not just like walking on the interstate, but like up and down mountain ranges for 14 states?
That's what I'm saying.
I really want to do it.
50 million steps.
It would take you a whole year. Somebody who wasn't like in
No, 5 million steps.
absolute
5 million
fit
steps.
shape.
Oh, sure. It'd take a lifetime for someone to just get up there.
lifetime.
I mean, you think about it. Like,
I live here now.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Because if the average person, I mean, that's like climbing Everest. Someone's training. I know it's not Everest, but it's like they're training for
I
this.
don't think I would have to train to finish it. In
I
7
guarantee
months.
you would.
She would be.
I run
in the
3+ miles
Yeah,
a
but
day.
you get
Yeah,
beat up.
But you're
on
talking
that
about
thing.
you'd have to know how to set up and break down.
If you-
camp, you'd have to
Would
be
it
able
be
to
hard?
cook.
Yes. Would
And
I be one of the last to finish?
you're
Yes.
carrying
But
a
still, I think I could do
80-pound
it. In
I don't think you're doing it in 7 months.
I've seen where they
Everybody-
weighed them, and most people's are like 50 pounds.
Yeah.
I don't think that everybody that does that trains for it.
50
They're-
to 80 pounds worth of gear on your back
Oh,
the whole
absolutely.
trip.
I think it would be really, really hard.
And people get beat up. I mean, like
I mean, I didn't even.
You'd have to know like some serious first
foot
aid
swamp.
and like care because you're going to get. There will be days where you don't move because the blisters.
I've seen pictures of like where they've shown the bottoms of people's
Yes.
feet who have done these trails.
It's
and
brutal.
It's like
The amount of rain and just weather. Just
I don't, girl. I
there's
don't know.
a lot more to it than
I
you're
think you'd
thinking.
need to train.
5 million steps.
You're talking about 2,200 miles across country hiking.
Forrest Gump.
I don't think
I wish I
unless
had a
you
more
train.
flexible job just so I could just sit on it, too.
I don't think you're doing it if you don't train.
Maybe if you did planned sections, like I'm gonna hike the entire thing, but I'm gonna do this section
On
this year.
Oh, see, that's
Average-
totally different.
On average, 5 to 7. The fastest was someone who was. There are people who are going to be really well trained. There are going to be people who are like they're not trained, but they just enjoy hiking.
Knowing the average, I'd say the fastest probably did it in 7 weeks.
42 days. I'm telling you, I could do it in 7
Pretty darn
months.
close.
42 days. Yeah, that's wild. They just didn't
I
stop the
don't
entire
know.
time. They
There
didn't
are people
sleep.
that are just on a spiritual journey that are hiking this by themselves.
She's gonna
that
drop
can do it in
acid
7
and
months.
go on this trail.
I know.
And they're going to experience the trail magic.
Okay, so 7 months, okay? You're talking, that is 10 miles a day minimum.
Mhm.
Breaking down, setting up camp every day, cooking.
There's 250
Maintaining.
camps on the trail.
Well, their camps are gonna be like,
Lean tubes. And
yeah,
I
like
said, do you think those are going to be like,
they're not whole tents. They're probably
No.
gonna
No.
be small little. Keep
so
me-
you got to do all that, eat 3 solid, because you can't skimp. I mean, your body's going through hell.
Oh, you're skimping.
No, you're not skimping. You
You
got
got to carry it. You're not. You're probably eating
Yeah,
a
but
lot of
you got-
calories, but you're not eating like.
Oh, I'd
You're eating a lot of granola.
I'd say the
and a
only
lot of-
time you're
Power
not
bar.
eating a meal is like lunchtime.
You're
Like
pro-
you're probably eating one before you take off in the morning, and you're eating one when you make camp at night. So you got to do all that. You got to. I mean, I don't think you're doing it in 7 months.
It's gonna be like a whole bunch of protein
If
bars,
average
like
is
not
5 to
actual
7
food.
months, I'm finishing it in 7.
I don't think so.
That's gonna be
10
tough.
That's 10 miles
You're
every
pretty soft.
day.
You're pretty soft.
That's 10 miles every
I like to
day.
complain. I do.
That's more than 10 miles every day.
Would it be a little bit of crying?
More
There
than
would-
likely.
I think
Oh, I
anybody's
think a
gonna
lot
cry
of
on it.
likely.
It would be really hard not to be like super fed up after like the first couple days.
Well,
Well, especially
my-
if you're by yourself.
That's
I mean,
my point. Like 210 days in a row, not one day off. And that's a minimum of 10 miles a day. So that one day that you're just like,
Are you
I
doing
just
this by
can't do
yourself?
it today.
Can you imagine being by yourself
Oh,
and just the amount of like?
I
Well, who's
couldn't
going to do it
that.
with you? Like, I don't know anyone that wants to spend
Well,
7
I think
months.
Brett would.
A lot of people, so they're guides and they will pay to get these groups together
Oh,
to
sure.
go.
Yeah.
So
They're not going the
I mean,
whole way.
that's
yeah, they are.
That would be fun.
Oh, they do. They,
Like you pay and that's their full time job. They're gone for 6 months out of the year, 7 months.
now
out
you're
of the
allowed
year.
to leave whenever.
gonna
They've
say,
got
you-
checkpoints
if-
that you can bail out on.
I wonder how much that is. Google Box.
Thousands.
What are we looking up? Like the Trail Guide sanction?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've seen like shows and stuff where like that's a person's full time job and their significant other.
One of my
is
best
gone
friends did
almost
that
all year.
He did that for like 12 years. He was an AT guide, and I mean, he just during high school he was big sports guy, into everything, and then the second he graduated, he just like disappeared.
Yeah.
And everyone was wondering what happened?
I mean, they
and he was an AT guide.
You
We're
can
just
make
like, what?
So fun.
He did it for like 12 years. Now I think he's just, I don't know if he's a ranger or if he's part of like a local hiking group. I don't know, but he just fell in love with it, and that's all he does. Like, he just hikes all day.
There are
every day.
people that are like that. It's just like that's their whole life is dedicated to that.
Yeah, and it's not the money for them. It's
The experience.
No, it's just being out in nature and just literally living off the land. Like he said, that first year he did it was by far the hardest thing he's ever done in his life. He said there were days where he said I bowed out as a guide at a checkpoint because I was unprepared.
How?
And he's like, they just switch you out. But,
I mean, all you're doing is saving all that money anyway. It's not like you're.
I was going to say,
You can't
it's hard to
spend it
spend
while
money
you're out
on.
there.
yeah,
It's hard to
yeah,
spend
there's
money on
nothing
the
to spend it
trail.
on. Yeah.
Spend it on hygiene products. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
that's.
They don't recommend it, honestly, when you go on those things. He said, this is not a thing of lavish, it's not a luxurious experience. He said, you don't bring deodorant, so you don't bring any of that stuff.
No, it doesn't matter.
It weighs you down, and it's a foreign smell, which attracts wildlife. They wonder, what is that? And then they get close, and most of them run off, but
2 days deep and I'd be done. I'd be like, I stink, I'm sweaty, I'm gross, I'm going home.
yeah, he said it is nasty. He's like, it's just gross. So just a 4-day hike in Vermont on the trail ridge of Vermont in the Appalachian is $1,500 for a 4-day experience.
You're probably paying like double-digit thousands, like $50,000.
Oh,
to go
sure,
on
easy,
Yeah.
easy.
I feel like it's cheating, though.
All right, here you go. Arguably one of the most famous hiking trails in America, let alone the world, the AT, stretches across the United States from Georgia to Maine and is hiked by people from across the globe every year, 2,200 miles, 2,178 to be exact. Most popular long-distance hiking trail. Roughly 3 million people each year hike a portion of the AT, but it's a tiny fraction of that who actually complete the entire 2,178-mile journey. It's estimated that between 20,000 to 22,000 people have done the whole trail since its inception in 1936.
Yeah.
So you're going to be one of 22,000 that's going to do the whole trail.
Now that you all have talked about it like this, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
good luck.
She's going to spend a year training.
Yeah.
And then
She's
gonna
not
be
training
gone.
for it.
I'm not training.
Yeah, I was going to say, she has to do it in 7 months with zero training.
Yeah,
That's the
no.
deal.
That's it.
The shortest record, oh my gosh. Shortest
Smell you
record,
later.
46 days, 8 hours, 7 minutes.
Oldest.
That's in
I had
2015.
41. It was like 41 days, 7 hours, and something.
I don't know.
The
It
oldest
doesn't-
person was 83. The youngest was 5.
A 5-year-old. Come on, guys.
He was on somebody's back the whole time.
Yeah.
You're assuming it's a he.
He, she, they, whatever.
I would greatly assume a he.
Now, I feel like the tolerance for pain is higher with females.
There we go.
That's why they do much better.
Yeah, but they
Rock
also
climbing.
don't do well in icky situations.
You're
Where
an
you-
icky situation.
where you can't shower and can't wear deodorant and you're carrying a 50-pound rucksack.
I would do
mean-
better at that than any of you all would.
I don't think so.
In an icky situation,
I don't think so.
You would definitely do better than me. I can't go more than a day without a shower.
so you need a permit
How much is the permit?
so the one it varies. I think there's 3 different national parks that you have to have a permit in order to camp at, and you have to camp at a campsite or a shelter. If those are full, you can like pitch a tent nearby. But I think it's $40 for the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. I think that was the most expensive
That's a steal.
one. And then there was like Shenandoah. I think that one was cheaper, like $6 or something like that. And you can register. You don't have to, but you can register your hike on. They've got like this Appalachian Trail thing, and I would probably
log it.
suggest doing that in case you go missing or something, because apparently there's on average about 6 people that go missing.
I was
a
going to say,
year.
how many people do they have to rescue? That's probably.
I was
a
reading.
lot
I was like
bigger.
tips for going, and it said things like, if you think you heard your name, don't look, run. Also, if you think you hear somebody, you didn't.
What?
And it was saying
If you think you heard your name, run.
You're
if
hallucinating.
it sounds like, because apparently a lot of people report like all these freaky spiritual things in the woods, and they said if it sounds like the person is nearby, they're far away. If it sounds like they're far away, they're nearby. And I'm like, interesting.
Now I'm paranoid.
Yeah.
In the 88 years of the trail, if you take the average 22,000 count, that's only 250 people a year. And it's 88 years.
Finish.
Sounds about right.
I think it
if you
said
think
something
about
about there's on average around 3,000 that attempt it. So that tracks.
So
for
yeah,
the
about 250.
1 in 4.
every
or
year.
especially
so.
doing the whole thing.
Now I'm assuming that to be fair though, that's probably a much higher clip now, considering 1936. I don't think a lot of people were trying it as much as they are
But I feel like
nowadays.
they
Probably
were,
weren't registering.
But
their percentage is probably higher because I
prob-
feel like they're
yeah.
probably tougher back then and a little more prepared for it versus.
I don't
They weren't
know.
as soft.
Yes, correct.
Well,
I just think that's
I don't know. We've got like athleticism is an entire cult following now. Like there are people that are constantly like that's their entire life is how can I do more? Like those folks are
Although
crazy.
you lift weights and then you try to do just like a body exercise, like balance wise,
Right.
and it's a totally different.
well. That's what I'm saying. I think that's why you would want to be prepared for something like this, because being athletic and being super strong is great, but when you get into like a
Walking up a hill, you can feel it in your lower back.
Yeah,
it's
I mean, it's
muscles that you don't usually
totally
use whenever
different
you're lifting
thing.
weights
I can
and-
feel it in my back right
like
now.
a power lifter isn't going to go dominate a what is that the high interval training that everyone does that's big.
CrossFit.
Yeah, the CrossFit. Like a power lifter isn't going to go dominate a CrossFit course. That's an absolute joke. He's probably not even going to get past the first couple sections because of the high intensity training that is involved in that.
Yeah, I mean,
and vice
people that
versa.
are
And
hiking and rock climbing, those are lean muscle
yeah,
mass.
totally different.
You can do a pull up with your fingertips.
It's like looking at a
thing.
rock climber, you would think that person's scrawny, they're not in shape. But it's they're in incredible shape because of their body mass to strength comparison. It's mind-boggling how strong those people are.
Those are the folks
watching them
that
do
can
that.
like do the horizontal pose on
Yes.
a pole, like where they can pull
Yeah,
their
they
whole
can just
body
hold
up.
it
Yeah,
like they're standing there sideways.
Yeah.
And they don't move.
Yeah, it's
And then they
crazy.
can just go up and down the pole like all at one and you're just like, how are they? Because that's, to me, it's like you're defying gravity.
Yeah.
You're David Blaine.
And I think a lot of
Like-
it is probably mental too, and people that are used to doing the rock climbing and different kind of stuff like that. They're
I would say probably, if you're in shape, probably 60 to 70% of this at some point becomes a mental battle.
yeah.
Hey guys, this is Tyler here with your real estate tip of the day. When you're starting the home buying process, the first step should be getting your finances together. Do yourself and y'all's agent a huge favor and get pre-qualified first, and do it before touring any houses. Pre-qualification lets you know what you can afford, and it also lets you know what loan type you can use. I highly recommend using a local lender versus a big box national brand. These local lenders are well versed in all the local happenings, and they typically get the job done much faster and much more smoothly than any .com lender ever could. Save the headache and shop local. If y'all have any other real estate related questions, just shoot us an email over at holler@yarpod.com.
Because you're in physical enough condition to do it, but at some point that mental
Your
is
brain
going to
gives up
set in.
before your body
Yeah.
Well, it's like being on
gonna
the
set in.
ocean and, the feeling of loneliness and no
Yeah.
one's around you. Even if you're with somebody,
You still
it's
feel
still
isolated.
like, that woods is awful big.
Yeah,
You're like,
that
there
cruise
is-
felt a little freaky there. It was only 3 days. When I was with
Just like
2,000 people.
when you're on the ocean floating around
Yeah.
and you're
I
like,
can relate.
You're like, there is nothing around here.
they're going to send Coast Guard for me.
That would be cool though, but I don't think. I mean, I think that's a pretty tough ask.
I'm going to do a portion of it this fall.
Maybe,
a portion,
maybe when I was like
4-day
20.
hike. But all at once. I think that's pretty.
Please take a
pretty damn
GPS with
impressive.
you
And please God, take a GPS, a backup battery for
and
the
know
GPS.
how to use it.
Luckily, my husband is very good at direction.
Was he an
so-
Eagle Scout?
No, but he's like you. He can go somewhere once. He knows his way around. I'm sure he could probably read a compass. or
Please
something.
take a GPS.
You guys are going to go off trail to pee and start heading back the same way you came. Thinking
We're
you're
going to have a
forward.
rope tied to each other.
They're gonna get back to the trail and be like, Which way were we?
Just
I think
drop
we were
some
coming from the
crumbs.
left. So okay, let's go left.
We'll have a rope tied to each other. One will stay on the trail. The other one will go pee.
They seriously do some of that up there.
Someone
Yeah.
will gnaw their arm off to get the rope off.
128 hours style. Is that?
I want
was
to
that
know
that movie?
who kills who.
The one where they got trapped under the rock or whatever.
Yeah, and he literally chewed his arm off.
The airplane?
No, the hiker guy out in the desert, like he fell into a little crevice in the
I'm talking about the
boulder.
Argentinian
I don't know if he
soccer
chewed his
players
arm
that-
off, but he like
Oh
ripped
no,
it
that
off.
was a whole nother. He had a pocket knife.
That's right, he cut it off.
He cut it off
Yeah.
with a pocket knife.
Good God.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Ugh. That's brutal. Well, yeah, when you think about survival, that pocket knife's getting used.
Yeah.
That's insane. Have you seen the movie?
No, I haven't seen the movie. The Argentina and soccer, that one was tough.
That one's been remade a few times. I remember the original.
Oh, yeah.
They just had one that came out on Netflix like
Yeah.
last year or something like that. It's pretty recent.
Little cannibalism.
I watched it and it was a really good movie, but there was a lot of like, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine being in that situation.
Things you have to do to survive.
Have a fun time on your hike.
You know, if you have to eat your husband, let us know when you get back.
Oh, my God.
There'd be no evidence.
Came down to me and him, and he was like, whatever you do, please don't sell the Hot Wheels.
So most of the trail is considered federal land, so no drugs or alcohol.
That's
Kids.
so stupid. That's so
I feel
stupid.
I
like
think
that's
you
a
can get
safe
arrested
call.
for having alcohol.
Probably.
At least
Yeah,
confiscated.
but I'm taking it.
They're strict with that stuff.
If I'm going to be up there for that long,
That's a lot of weight.
I'm putting a little bottle
That's
somewhere
true.
in there.
Although you find a little apple, let it ferment for a few days. Make some prison.
She's out here making her homemade. She's like, if I'm out here for 7 months, by God, I'm drinking.
Well, you got the bars at the
I said, don't they have the little
stops
bars and
stuff
stuff?
like
Yeah.
that?
See, they've commercialized it.
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
Amateurs.
if you've seen these places, they are not commercialized. I saw a like you talked about this general store in Kentucky for the rock climbing. I mean, that's what most of these places are like.
That's like the
during
little
the
summit
18
stops on Everest where like they call them like the hotel, and you get there and you're like,
Yeah.
what is that?
Although I will say, whenever we went on that rock climbing trip, getting to the areas where you would rock climb, I thought that I was going to die there. It was, first of all, it was the guy that I don't trust driving. He's driving us in some off-road vehicle. He's going like 50 miles an hour. It had poured rain in this red clay mud.
Oh, well,
And
it's
we
good
were
if it
driving
rained.
through like rivers and stuff and it didn't look like even a dirt road. It looked like not even a hiking trail. And I'm like, are you sure that we're going towards something that we're supposed to go towards?
He's going east, so he's going to run into something eventually.
That was probably the worst and scariest part of that trip.
How'd the rock climbing go?
She
It was
did not
good.
like
I watched most of it.
Just like,
I'm apparently afraid of heights, and I didn't know before I went because I didn't practice.
you're afraid of heights and you're going to go hike mountains?
I had
Or
never.
afraid of heights?
I had never done indoor rock climbing, so I decided the first time I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it outdoor. Sure.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
I got halfway up the wall, and I was like,
ambitious.
So she tried to do something without proper training.
And what happened?
and I had fun. That's what happened.
Until
She had fun not participating.
I'm staying on the ground for this one.
both feet on the ground.
Okay,
at all
so they
times.
have a whole website dedicated to like Appalachian Trail glossary, because apparently there's like a lot of lingo.
Oh, yes. Hiking terminology.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
Hit us with it.
Aqua Blaze.
That's a fire water. I'll take a fire water. That sounds like a shot. That's a shot at one of the bars.
I'll give you a hint. It's not a shot.
Okay, seriously though.
Hot
Aqua
water.
Blaze.
I got nothing.
Is that like one of those little steam pools
Hot water shower.
up in the mountains?
No, there were a handful of these whatever blaze that were pretty funny, but so this one is to skip a section of the Appalachian Trail by watercraft. So canoe, kayak, raft.
Oh, that's cheating.
They had a few of those definitely. It was
Aqua
like
Blaze.
whether you take it by a car or you skip it by taking a main road. They had some really funny definitions.
So someone would say like, yeah, I skipped section 12. I was aqua blazing.
Yeah.
That's
a
weird.
thru-hiker is someone who hikes the whole trail.
A what?
They're a thru-hiker.
Okay, well, that one kind of makes sense.
I would probably be a section hiker just because I can't. If I could get off of work for that amount of time, if I didn't have pets, we would be living in an RV right now.
Okay.
No.
We're gonna.
I thought about
put
that 10
one
years
over
ago,
here, and we gonna
I thought
talk about
about
that later. But okay, an RV.
Yeah, I got talked out of my my Appalachian Trail hiking a couple of years ago, so I decided to postpone it for a bit. But we're going
The whole thing.
eventually. I would love to, if I were capable.
Do a section
of
a
taking off
year.
of work, that's what I was thinking.
You don't have
But
to do it all in one.
I wouldn't feel as
Yeah.
accomplished though.
How big's the section? Just out of curiosity.
Well, whatever section you
Whatever
want to make it be.
You want it to be.
I don't think it's.
Oh, they don't have
actually-
like designated sections.
I think they kind of do.
I thought
but,
they did.
But you know, if you're just doing a
Well,
chunk
yeah, I mean, I know
every
you
year,
could section it out yourself, but like I thought they had like section 1 through 20.
well, whatever miles, I'm sure they
Yeah.
do.
And that's the other thing is like I'd probably have to leave our son like with
When you come back, it'll be grown.
No, he'd just be the youngest person to ever do it.
He's also a runner, so
Bear,
I have to
bear,
have a little
bear
backpack
bait.
for him.
Get one of those.
Please do not do this.
Indian. What do you call the Indian?
I could not see him more than a few minutes being held in one spot.
Talking about the Appalachian Trail, and you're over here mentioning Indian things. And
Well, the where they hold them to their body. You know, what do you
Oh.
call it? I can't.
Yeah,
remember.
right.
little
If
kangaroo sack.
Yeah,
when I pick him up
Yeah,
to take
Indian.
him out of his crib to change his outfit,
He'll fall asleep after.
He puts his hands and his feet on my chest like a feral cat. He's like, "Don't hold me.
I think after
Please don't hold me."
20 miles, he'll be okay. It'll lullaby him to sleep.
He
I don't
growls
think,
at
I don't
me
think your
when I
mom
try to
would
hug
allow
him.
you to take your son.
No, I wouldn't.
She would be like, "Nope,
I wouldn't.
nope. If you're going to go up there and risk it, that's you. That's up to you. But give me Bellamy.
Yeah.
Give him here.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You got a babysitter then.
Well, yeah, you'd have to have one.
Well, anyway, I think that was a good episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting to say the least. I look forward to your 7-month journey.
We'll mark
I'll report back.
the calendar.
I'll report
Yeah.
back.
All the pictures.
Yes,
have
we're
to
gonna
do
we're gonna
the-
be marking the X's like in the movies.
We'll do the
Wonder where Brittany is.
podcast from the
Send me
road.
care packages on the road.
No, that's cheating.
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 I'm allowed to eat.
Well, yeah.
We'll have to go visit and do the podcast from the road.
Oh yes, you'll have to let
Oh,
us
that
know
would
when
be
you're
so
at,
funny.
at base camp. We'll meet you.
Yeah, we're not hiking.
No, we'll be sitting here, being like, I wonder if Brittany's alive. Like,
Yeah.
Where do you think she's made it to?
Did she eat Brett yet?
Yeah, I haven't heard from Brett in a while. I'm kind of getting concerned. I might go open that Jaws Hot Wheels.
Well, anyway, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe. We are on YouTube. And see you guys next week.
Peace.
See ya.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. If you or someone you know is thinking about buying or selling real estate in East Tennessee, email us at holler@yarpod.com. You can also reach Brittany Hawkins at 423-270-9572, Todd Huber at 865-456-0101, Tyler Letner at 865-816-0076, and Nick Cantey at 865-250-5167. Our office at Wallace Real Estate can be reached at 865-584-4000. Make sure to ask for YARPod. See y'all next week.